she's just so assured of herself. And I have been envious of that because I'm sure of myself when I'm alone. I feel very confident alone. People don't know this about me, but I'm really introverted. And so I actually feel more like myself when I'm alone. And I think part of that is because I'm empathetic. Hello and welcome. I'm Bretagne.
I'm Johanna.
And I'm Anike, and you're listening to Dare to Try podcast.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing?
Good. Excited to be here.
Me too.
Yeah. I didn't warm up my tea hot enough, but other than that, it's great.
That's the worst.
Lukewarm tea.
Yeah, it's like lukewarm, and it's not like dissolving.
Water.
Yum. Well, how did everyone's week go? How did your challenges go? Does everyone remember what happened last week? Let's do a little recap. So last week, the truth that we came up with was, when was the last time you had feelings of envy towards someone? And we want a little recap. So Anike, what did you talk about last week? What was your last time that you felt a little envious?
Oh, it was about a time of a couple that I went to college with who have like surpassed me financially, and they've got this ginormous house, and they've got these like perfect, always looking beautiful children that are in like dance classes, and they've lived outside the country for months just because they can, and like they just have the money and the means to do all the things. And so social media makes it seem like their life is perfect. And so I started like comparing myself to that. So that's probably the last time I like really felt like they're not more deserving than me and I should have that type of feeling.
So during your week, how did that go? Did your dare of trying to smile and compliment, did you do it? How did it go? Was it applied to that situation at all?
So, actually, during this week, I did like comment on one of the wives' pictures and said something really nice. Whereas in the past, I would have just said nothing at all, because I'm not one to like outwardly be mean, but I just was just like, scrolling and just not saying anything. But this time I did say something nice, and she didn't reply or anything, so it's fine. And I think the other thing is I forgot to invite them to my wedding. So I think they also I don't think they're like very, they like me right now. I don't know. I called the husband like a year after the wedding. I was like, look, I asked for people's addresses and you didn't give me mine, and I'm really sorry. I was really busy. And he was just like, it's okay, whatever. But yeah, it was kind of awkward. But the rest of the week, I didn't find myself as envy. Like, I've been really working on it, so I didn't really have a lot of situations where I was really envious with anybody. So I was just complimenting everyone. And so anyone that I saw that I liked, instead of keeping it to myself, I just complimented. So I don't have anything like one big situation to really share. It's just and I didn't really go very many places. So I don't really have much to report, although I have been focusing on feeling more gratitude and just complimenting everyone. And so I've been like, everyone that I thought was more successful than me on social media, I was just kind of messaging them and saying like, you have a powerful voice and you can be heard and you're going to change this world type of thing.
Good. So, I love that. I think that even though you might not have had like one big experience, I think changing your mindset made you do multiple big steps. You went out of your way and you complimented multiple people. So I think having a different mindset shifted the experience that you could have had and creating just positive moments continuing forward. I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
Bretagne, what was your experience?
Okay, real quick, Anike, I love that. I love that instead of being envious, you were grateful. Instead of keeping it to yourself, you gave it away. And my experience was very similar. So my truth was, I have a friend who is this beautiful, strong, confident woman who is sweet, yet she has no problem sticking up for herself and, talking well about herself and having good boundaries. And she just holds herself so well and doesn't care if she offends. She doesn't go out of her way, but she's just so assured of herself. And I have been envious of that because I'm sure of myself when I'm alone. I feel very confident alone. People don't know this about me, but I'm really introverted. And so I actually feel more like myself when I'm alone. And I think part of that is because I'm empathetic. And when I'm around other people, my energy shifts. I automatically stop thinking about myself. I don't know how to act sometimes because I'm like, there's someone here. What do they need? How should I support them? Do they need to be this way? Should I be that way? Should I be, and it's like this really weird dynamic. And so I have been envious of this person who doesn't seem to have, I don't know, but doesn't seem to have that conflict. So this week I was so excited because I was like, okay, if I see that person, that friend, I will obviously compliment them, but I didn't see that friend. And so I did the same thing, like, okay, who is someone that I envy? And I was like, do I envy you? Do I envy you? And I moved into this new apartment building, and there's this couple, this beautiful couple who's like 10 years younger than me and probably 5 times more successful. They have these matching like camel pea coats, and they wear like all black underneath, and they just look like such badasses. And I saw them walking in the garage, and I was like, I envy you. And I was so excited to find someone that I was like, okay, I want that. And I wanted to go up and tell them, but I was driving when I saw them. And by the time I had parked, they had already walked into the building. And then I like ran in to go see them, and they already took the elevator. And so I was unable to tell them. So I've just had these moments where instead of being envious, I've actually been grateful. But I've been looking for moments where I was envious. And then on Wednesday at the gym, it was Thursday at the gym, I saw this beautiful woman I've never seen before. She looked like Venus or Serena. She was this gorgeous, strong, fit, looked like a tennis player, but some type of athlete. And I saw her, she just lit up the room. Her smile took up her whole face, and her eyes were like planets. And I was gazing into her and was like, I'm envious of you. And so I wanted to go say something, but she was in the middle of a conversation. It was not the right time, and there wasn't really a good time. So I didn't say anything, but I told myself if I saw her at the gym again, I was definitely going to say something. So I did. The very next day, she came in to pick up her husband, I think. So she wasn't in gym clothes. She was nice clothes. And I see her, and I'm stretching, and I'm like, I got to hurry finish stretching. So I go catch her, and she leaves with her husband outside. And I was like, dang it. I won't get a chance to say anything to her. But they actually were outside parked. And they had the car that I want, this beautiful G-Wagon. And I was like, of course, the woman that I envy has the car that I envy. And so I decide I'm going to go up and I'm going to say something. And they're getting something out of their car, and you could tell that they have stuff to do. But I was committed. And I said, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but I saw you yesterday. And you stopped the room. You just lit it up. And I think you are absolutely gorgeous. You are stunning. And I just wanted you to know that I've been thinking about how beautiful you are. And I was hoping that I could see you again just so I could tell you. And she's just like, wow, thank you. And she like kind of giggles. And I was like, yeah, gorgeous. And her man looks at me, who actually is an ex-NFL player. he looks at me and he's all like, what about me? And he was a good looking dude, but it wasn't about him. It was about her. And so I said, you're all right, I guess. Like, you're fine. And then I went back to her. I was like, but you are beautiful. And she was like, thank you. I'm like, okay, see you later. And then I walked away.
That's awesome. That's so funny that the guy was like, what about me? I'm like, go look in the mirror and go tell yourself. It's not about you right now, mister.
Yeah, exactly. No, he took it with good like humor. Like, what about me? I'm like, you're all right. But I'm into your woman, so.
I love that. That is so funny. This whole time while you were talking, I was like, oh no, like maybe this was like a bad dare because you're like looking to be envious. And I was like, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
No, this was really good because it reaffirmed that I'm actually far more grateful than I realized. And I'm far less envious.
But it also like keeps us in the like forefront of our mind though to look for it. Just because some people like we think like 60,000 thoughts a day and half of those or 90% of those are the same as yesterday, and like 90% of those are the ones that we don't even realize we're thinking. They're like subconscious. And so the dare put it into our conscious. So we might actually be feeling envious but might not know it. But we did this week, we started like looking for it and like noticing it. Like Bretagne was like, oh yeah, I want that, which is an envious feeling. And so it actually was good because it helped us to be more aware of those that we probably were already having, just not vocalizing it or putting it into our conscious.
Exactly, which is kind of funny because my experience, so my truth was, things like my house or, trying to be a better mom because there are so many more moms, more creative and la-di-da. And so, but when I gave this dare, it was actually after an experience I had of feeling more grateful. I was like, I need to be more grateful for my life and everything. And so I was like, I'm going to dare everybody to be more grateful. And next time you're feeling envious, be more grateful. Maybe because I was like PMSing, I don't know, but I was like really envious. And I was like, man, like this person has it all together. My house is so messy. My kids, like all these things. And I just kept on thinking, I was like, this is not going according to plan. Like I'm supposed to be more grateful. And if anything, it's the opposite. And so I just kept on thinking like, okay, like I am grateful. I am grateful for my kids. And this week actually, even though I was more envious of stuff because I was also writing like my Christmas wish list, and I was thinking, okay, like what can I get? And I want like new measuring spoons, even though I have the measuring spoons I wanted last year because they're steel and not plastic, but they're not magnetic. And so I really wanted ones that are magnetic and they don't have to be cinched together with a stupid like flimsy metal ring that I have to undo every single one in order to get it off. My in-laws have magnetic that you could just take it off and put it on and it just snaps. And I was just like, ooh, really want those. And I've been cooking like all week using these measuring spoons, and I was just so frustrated. I was like, when can I just get what I want? I want measuring spoons and new glass measuring cups, and like I was just like listing all these things for my wish list. I was like, but I have all those things. I have those things already. I just want better ones. Make my life a little more easy. But even though for things I was a little more envious, this week was a lot better with my kids. Like I put away my shows. I put away, like sometimes I like to check out, watch a Hallmark movie and kind of like just check out of life. And I decided not to do that, and I was more present with my kids, and I saw their personalities grow and change, and I'm like, wow, I'm like really grateful for how amazing these kids are. They're so kind and loving and hilarious. My daughter just stands up on the stool and just screamed and then walked away. Like, my kids are awesome. And it's just been an amazing week in that way. And so it's funny because I've had an opportunity to talk to them more and not necessarily go out. I only went out one time And I was just so busy that I didn't even think of being envious of anyone and think of complimenting them either. So I really was just complimenting my kids the whole week. And if anything, it made them happier and we have a better relationship. We got more snuggles in, we shared more laughs. Like, it wasn't to anyone but just in my family. And what better place to start strengthening and complimenting people is in the center of your life. So that's kind of how my week went.
Oh, I love that. I love that this challenge was not exactly what you thought it was going to be, but it deepened your relationship with your family and obviously deepened your gratitude practice.
Yeah, and your kids are awesome, and you're awesome. So I think it wasn't a like getting out of our comfort zone too much type of challenge, but I think it was like a self-awareness type of thing. And I think every challenge is beneficial, even if it's beneficial 1 degree or 1,000 degrees, you know, I think it's still beneficial. So I really appreciate this challenge.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I wanted to share a couple quotes that went along with it. I was just thinking, it takes a good habit to replace a bad habit. And someone named Melody Carlson, have you heard of that person? I've never heard of them. I looked it up on Google and I loved it. I loved that it says it takes a good habit to replace a bad habit. And it's so true. I've heard that so many times that if you're having some like bad thoughts and you want to replace them, you've got to actually replace it. You can't just say, I'm going to stop thinking about that. And when we are thinking of envious things or having a hard time, you've got to put in some action. I know, Anike, you've talked about that. The other quote, I actually stumbled on, my best friend posted it on Facebook yesterday.
Wait, what did I post?
I thought I was the best friend.
You are my sisters, my best friends, my other best friend, my sister from another mister. She posted this and it just seems so true to me. It said that God created the crafty moms to inspire creativity. He created the tidy moms to inspire comfort. He created the nurturing moms to inspire calm. He created the funny moms to inspire laughter. He created the crunchy moms to inspire health. He created the party planning moms to inspire community. But he didn't create you to be all of them. So stop trying to be all of them. Be the mom you were created to be. And then find your village to be the moms you aren't. Because we were all created to need each other. Jordan Harrow.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that so cool?
So what mom do you think you were created to be?
I asked myself that very question. I don't know. I think sometimes I'm a little bit of all of them. I'm definitely not the crunchy mom like I want to be. I could be a funny mom. I make people laugh sometimes. Maybe if it's just laughing at me. Maybe more of a nurturing mom. I love snuggling, and as a lacrosse coach, when I first became a coach, I wasn't married, I didn't have kids, and at the end of the year they all give awards, and you do funny awards and tears awards, and my funny award was actually sweet because they named me the team mom, even though I wasn't married or a kid yet or had kids yet. And I thought that was so sweet because that whole season, anytime someone got hurt, I ran up to them, helped them stretch, or I wrapped them up, or I just gave them a hug. And I wasn't always the nicest coach. I was definitely the yelling type back then, and I try not to be anymore and just more respectful. But even after all these years, I think it's been like 10 years now that I've been coaching, and I still am always going up to someone and like, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna get through this. And with my kids, like as soon as they're crying and hurt, I am that parent that runs up to them like, oh my gosh, are you okay? It's gonna be okay. And sometimes I let them cry if it's a total fake cry or something. You don't need to comfort every moment, but I think it's important to be there to nurture and comfort people.
Yeah, it sounds like you are the nurturing mom. I was also going to throw in there the present mom because you were present this week, but I also think you've always been present with your kids because like when I was like watching a movie with you one time, I was into the movie and our kids were like trying to get our attention. I'm just like, yeah, like trying to like go play. I'm watching, like grown up time. And you, every single time, were like, yes, Olive. Oh, wow, that's so interesting. Like you missed the movie so that you didn't miss your children. And that's like a superpower of yours.
I love that. Thanks for saying that.
You're welcome.
I think it just goes back to say that we have the desires that we have, I think, because we are those things. You desire to be more present because you are present. And so you want more of that thing that you have.
I love that.
I love these quotes. And this was such a fun challenge. I feel, going into the week of Thanksgiving, that we are feeling more grateful. And that brings me to this week's dare. Okay, let's keep the theme, shall we? So, this week's dare, if I can pull it up. Okay, truth. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ready for me? Okay, truth. Does being around people who are less fortunate than you make you uncomfortable? Or what do you feel being around those who have less?
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, sometimes, yeah. Because of what like media portrays or how we were raised in like a fearful state of like, don't touch people, don't talk to people, don't get too far away. But like, I remember this one time we were downtown Salt Lake City and this guy, we were getting in the car and this guy who appeared to be homeless, very dirty and kind of frantic, came right up to the window and I was driving and I immediately rolled it down and was like, yes. And Dad was like, don't roll it down. Like, what if he's like gonna like try to grab you or do something? And I was just like, I don't know, he needs help. And I was like, look, man, like I don't have any money and it's actually illegal now to give like people money on the streets out here. And he was just like, okay. And then he just went away and nothing happened. But there was a part of me that was just like, don't touch me, because he was dirty. And I just didn't want to feel like get dirty, which is very judgmental for sure. And he probably needed help. And maybe he had something else going on mentally, or he was on drugs, or maybe he just had unfortunate life. I don't know. But I totally, full disclosure, had that thought of like, just don't touch me. And like, how awful is that to like feel? Like if somebody thought that about me, like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but don't touch me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Anike, I don't think you're alone in that. And that's why I really wanted to bring up this truth, because I think this is hard for people to admit sometimes and admit to themselves. So Johanna, same truth.
Yes. So where I live, there's not necessarily like dirty homeless people. I really like our homeless people. But I feel sad because it's usually families that are sitting on the corner. And it breaks my heart. I have family and I want to give them everything, and they're sitting on the corner of a grocery store right after I've done all my grocery shopping, but I don't have anything I can give. Like sometimes I'll have some groceries on my front seat, some snacks that I pulled up, and I'll give them like a juice or some crackers, and I'm like, here, like this is what I can afford to give you. I don't carry cash on me typically, so I usually can't give them cash. Sometimes I will give it to them if I have it, or sometimes I even think of pulling out cash to give them. But like, we're pretty strapped, and so I can't always give people stuff, and it just breaks my heart. And I'll just like smile and like try to give a considerate look to them. But actually, on a different perspective, I have been thinking a lot about friendship and that I want to make new friends. And I'm on a million like mom group pages on like Facebook and social media, and I'm always like talking to people, and we give each other advice and help each other out, or say events that are going on. And And sometimes when people invite me, my first instinct is to Facebook stalk them. And like, I wonder what they're like. Like, are we similar in any way? And I really don't want to be like, oh, you don't dress like me, so I don't want to hang out. I don't want to be like that. And so for a while there, I was like, okay, I'm just going to be friends with everyone because we could be similar in other ways. But I realize how obsessed I am with my image, and that I want to look nice. I want to have a certain style, and I would like people to give me advice about that. Like, hey, like, does this look good? And if they don't have the same style as me, then I don't want to ask for their advice. And so if I'm going to make friends with people, I do want them to have the same fashion style as me so that I can accept their judgment. And it sounds really bad because I want to be friends with everyone, and I am, but to hang out with someone, I don't know, like, that's just something I guess I need to work on. It's a contradicting thought, I guess. I don't know.
No, I love that you shared that, Johanna. When it comes to contradictions, though, I think contradictions are misunderstood. I feel like contradictions are actually just us evolving our answer and evolving as people and changing and trying. And so I actually welcome contradictions. And I think it was very vulnerable of you to share the whole style thing. And I get it. I have a friend at Heartland Pharmacy who is like 10 years younger than me, so stylish. And I'd rather hang out with her than anyone else in the pharmacy because I'm going to ask, like, where'd you get your nails done? I love the way you did your eye makeup. How did you do that? But I'm other people's friends too. I just know when it comes to style advice, I don't ask the person who wears an oversized t-shirt and hasn't gotten a new pair of shoes for 6 years. Not because they can't afford them, but because they just don't care to get new shoes. So it's okay to have people that you want to ask style advice from, but there's so many more people and experiences that are out there that are outside of our little bubble, outside of what we think we need. And so that brings me to the dare. And my answer to this truth is absolutely. Absolutely, I have felt uncomfortable. I have several stories in my life where I have not wanted to make eye contact with someone, not wanted to talk to them because they had holes in their shirt, because they clearly hadn't bathed in a long time. But not even that, someone who is even goes to the same church. I remember that there was a family that went to the same church as us, and they were less fortunate, and their hair wasn't washed. You could tell their clothes weren't taken care of, and I never wanted to sit by them. I didn't want to talk to them. And I think part of that is I didn't want to be associated with them because I didn't want people to think I was less fortunate. And I think that is so incredibly sad. And I don't think we should care what it looks like, how we can be perceived. I think we need to start treating people as people, no matter where they come from, no matter what they look like. And I think we need to take some time to be more giving of ourselves. So the dare is find someone less fortunate than you. Give them something that you are grateful to have, and then spend time with this person. So it is not enough to drop off food. It's not enough to hand money through the window. You're going to have a conversation. You're going to hang out with them. You're going to maybe just walk down the street with them while they're walking. It does not mean you have to spend 2 hours with them, but it is more than a transactional process. I want this to be an experience, and you're doing this to give them something. It's not about you. What do you think?
I love that. I love that you said it's to give them something. I know this is about Thanksgiving and that we need to, give thanks, but I've also been thinking a lot about Christmas, and we pull names and everything. And I've been thinking a lot about how every Christmas we're worried like, oh, I want this person to have me because they know how to give me a good gift. I don't want this person to have me because I don't like the gifts they give me. Like it's not what I want. And I just think, how selfish is that? And so this year when we were organizing the name polling, I put a theme on it of give a piece of yourself to that person that's going to strengthen your relationship with them. But you need to give a piece of yourself to them, because we're over here thinking, oh, like, what are they going to want? What are they going to appreciate? Which is very selfless as we're giving, but very selfish as a receiver. Mm-hmm. And so I love that you said, let's give these people something. And it's not about you, because a lot of the time when I hang out with people, I'm like, oh, am I going to refill my tank? Am I going to feel energized? And it's like, you know what? They need their tank refilled. Mm-hmm. Can you help them with that? So I love that you.
Well, also, I don't know about you, but I can also be a selfish giver. So I know that I have good energy. I know that people like to hang out with me, and I will go and hang out with someone, not because I want to experience them, but because like, well, they need a friend. And so I guess I'm going to go there and be what they need. And instead of hang on, be present. Maybe they have more to give you than you have to give them. Just be open to the experience instead of going in like, I'm going to save the day. They're so lucky to hang out with me. I'm amazing. You know, like, I think it's really important to also be aware of, yeah, it does feel good to give, but we're not doing this to feel good about ourselves. We know we just did a whole grateful practice. We feel very grateful for what we have. Right now, we need to give some love and some gratitude to someone else.
That's awesome. I hope that people, I want to share this on our Instagram right away, this challenge, because I really hope that other people do that. I've been sharing it with some of my friends, and I think you've seen how I've formatted the challenges and stuff. So they're like bold and bright and easy to read. So I'm going to post that on Instagram and then make sure we share it with other people so that we can inspire others to do the same thing. Because out here in Portland, the freeways are lined with homeless people. Like, there's tents and tarps everywhere. They're on every corner. Like, it is there's so many homeless people out here, and there's a lot of other people that are just less fortunate but not necessarily homeless, but there's a lot of it out here. And you might see it in Denver too. It's definitely those like bigger cities, but Portland especially. So I just think if we help inspire other people, we can have a much farther reach, because I don't have the means to go down the freeway and be like, let me spend time with you and you and you and you. I mean, that would take a year to go and talk to everybody. And so I think it'll be fun and a really good experience to share with one person, or maybe even a couple. Who knows what happens this week, but let's try to like expand our reach to help a lot of people this week.
Yeah, I love that, Anike. And thank you so much for posting on social media. You're very good at that. And like Johanna said about the different moms, I think that's what's so important about our tribe, is that we all have a different strength and we all have a different ability. And this is why we take turns coming up with dares. This is why we take turns sharing our stories, is we all have something to contribute. And that goes out to our listeners as well, that please contribute, give of yourself, and share your talents with us as well, as we learn and grow together.
Awesome. I'm really excited for this challenge.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited every week, you guys. Can I just say, I feel like we're pretty cool.
I think we're pretty quirky.
We are very quirky. Someone told me, they're like, I really like how you're not afraid to be weird. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. It's a compliment.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this week, and we actually are finishing on time, which is beautiful. So, Anike, you're gonna, post. We're all gonna update notes, and we're gonna take on this dare and share on social media. if I don't talk to you guys before, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm incredibly grateful for each one of you, and you just fill my life with so much joy. And so I love you guys.
Ditto. I love you guys too.
All right. So we dare you. We dare you. How do we want to end this?
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Deuces.
We are the Dare to Tribe, and we dare you to try, especially this week with Thanksgiving. Think of those that are unfortunate. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.